Okay, welcome to our second tutorial for the mobile and communication unit. So today's session, we're going to look into understanding communication technologies used in mobile devices. So we had an introduction yesterday. Again, 1 second.
Victor, does anybody ever go to the campus and learn there?
The nursing students, because the nursing qualification requires face-to-face tutorials, so they need to do like I think like 5 or 6 hours a week. So they do online and face-to-face sessions.
Right. So anybody else, they don't?
Other courses is not required. So
okay.
Yeah. So in today's session, our indicative content, we're going to look into transmission technologies. So we will look into type of infrared. We will analyze. We will now analyze them, explain how they're used and the technology behind it. And also we're going to look into wireless networking. So we touch base again in access point and hotspot, and also wireless network adapters and other type of hardware devices that we are required to build our network system. So we already given an introduction, a definition of mobile communication yesterday, where we simply explained that it is basically the process of using computing and communication technology to transfer data from one point to another end. And we looked into a video which explained to us the logic behind how this can be done wirelessly. So I do have another video which I want to share with you, and you give us a more insight of the technology behind these devices.
Okay.
Terra is the IT painkiller. Remote monitoring and management, remote access, help desk and ticketing, smart automations, patching, software.
In today's world, everyone uses mobile phones and each call gets connected within a second. Does anyone know about the process behind each and every call? Let's see in this video. Initially, it was 1G. 1G is a first generation cellular standard called by different names like AMPS, MTS and IMTS. It was introduced in 1980s and it supports only voice services over limited range. It employs analog modulation technique with FDMA. 1G handsets were bulkier with antenna on top of device. The cons of 1G are replaced by GSM. Global System for Mobile Communication. GSM is a second generation cellular standard developed in 1991 by European Telecommunications to support voice and data services. It uses digital modulation with TDMA, while 2G handsets were cheaper and less in size. GSM was the first generation to introduce SIM cards. GSM had certain specifications like uplink, downlink, transfer rate, etc. to carry information. Mainly it has a GMSK digital modulation and a TDMA access method. GSM data speed was approximately 14.4 kilobits per second. GSM uses different frequency bands in different regions. In India, it was 900 MHz and 1800 MHz. GSM architecture is the basic architecture in cellular network. It contains 4 subsystems: mobile station, base station subsystem, network switching subsystem, operation support subsystem. Here it is the representation of each subsystem in architecture. It is noticed that each subsystem contains some components. Let's discuss in detail. First of all is a mobile station. It has 2 components. Mobile equipment. It is the hardware used by a subscriber to access network, identified by IMEI number, International Mobile Equipment Identity. SIM, Subscriber Identity Module. It is a detachable smart card containing IMSI number, International Mobile Subscriber Identity. It also allows a user to send and receive calls. Second subsystem is a base station subsystem. It also contains 2 components, a base transceiver system. It is nothing but mobile towers. It sends and receives signals from mobile phones and performs various functions like encoding, multiplexing, modulation and encryption. Then base station's controller. It controls group of BDSs. It allocates radio signals and hand over from one BTS to another. The third subsystem is a network switching subsystem, and it has 5 components. The main element is a mobile switching center. It is the heart of GSM. It manages mobile services like registration, authentication, etc., and performs call routing, call setup, and call switching. It communicates with other NSS components like HLR, VLR, etc. The second element is a home location register. It is the central master database of subscribers, AMSI, current location, and information. Third one is a visitor location register. It is a subset of HLR and holds a local database of users currently visiting location in other domain. If the user lives in Chennai, then it is his home network and HLR works here. When he travels to Delhi, then it is his visiting network and VLR starts working. The fourth one is equipment identity register. It is also a database that contains all valid handsets on network using IMEI number. It marks IMEI as invalid if handset is stolen. Fifth element is authentication center, a protected database that stores copy of IMSI number for authentication and encryption task. It protects from different types of frauds on network. The last subsystem is operation support subsystem. It is connected to all equipments in the switching system on GSM network. It provides administration and commercial operation and manages security and operation, performs network configuration and maintenance task. Now let's view the GSM structure again. Mobile station sends a signal to BSS through an interface. The BSS routes that signal to NSS which performs various tasks as discussed earlier. BSS and NSS are supported by OSS. Finally, the signal from NSS is sent to external wire network like PSDN, ISDN, etc. The GSM system can be simplified as shown. The user calls a certain number using mobiles. The signal is received by the mobile tower which is BTS. Then it is routed to BSC for allocating a radio channel and reaches MSC for tracking location and authentication. Finally, the signal is transferred to a telephone network. At the receiver side, the signal transmission occurs in reverse direction. Thanks for watching. This is Arun signing off.
Have you heard of the term?
Okay, so this video showed us the architecture that is behind mobile communication. So this was very insightful. Hope you had a clear understanding of it. And what we'll do now, we're going to discuss various transmission technology and the use of mobile communication devices. So when it comes to infrared, there are various types. So the most popular Bluetooth, wireless fidelity, which is Wi-Fi, GMS, GPRS, and DTR, and also technologies such as 3G, 4G, and 5G. So Bluetooth, as we all know, it is simply uses the radio frequency to share data over a short distance. So devices can communicate with each other only if they're within a range of distance. And where the Bluetooth is now enabled in both devices, then you're able to exchange some data. When it comes to Wi-Fi, which has a different technology, it allows you to access internet through a router, which has to be nearby, and it can be accessed through a range of distance higher than a Bluetooth, but at the same time, you get lost the further you go. Also, we have GSM, which simply stands for Global System for Mobile Communication. And it is basically open and digital cellular technology used them for mobile communication. We also have GPRS, which is an enhancement to the existing GSM network infrastructure. And why those you now provide a connectiveless packet data service. Then we have DTR, which is data transfer rate, and it is the amount of digital data that is moved from one place to another in a given time. And conclusively, we have 3G, 4G, and 5G technologies, which are now built into mobile phones, and they allow us to share data across the whole globe. So the difference with 3G and Bluetooth is that this will now give you access to internet with a wider range of distance. Open to this again. Okay, so we have now coming to evaluate the need of various standards and protocol used by mobile communication devices. So when it comes to Wi-Fi, there are various types. So here, for example, we're looking into the AO2.11, which was the original standard created in 1997, which was the first Wi-Fi ever to exist, and it had a 2 megabyte per second frequency on a 2.4 gigahertz frequency, which we can assume at the time was really slow. And nowadays they have now improved to 5 gigahertz frequency and can give us a rate up to 54 megabyte per second. And some other more powerful Wi-Fi can access even 100 megabyte per second or even to 200 megabyte. Also, we have ERDA from infrared. So what does it do? It maintains a standard for the infrared data transmission, which is up to 4 megabyte per second. And because this technology will now cost extremely low, so the prices are quite less compared to other type of mobile communication devices. Here we have a table which shows us the type of technology and how these the speed and frequency that they use to connect over the internet. When it comes to wireless access protocol, when it comes to protocol related to Wi-Fi and these type of routers, we need to see that these are now a set of rules or agreed upon guidelines for communication. So when it comes to the Wi-Fi AO2.11, family or wireless network protocols can now be the standard for wireless network, and they will now make it possible for other devices to interact. So this was the main definition of wireless access point. Another technology which is very important is the SMS protocol, which was mentioned in the video. In the video, he went more in detail and he explained all the layers which are related to this type of technology, and they explain in detail the protocol. And what we can see from him, here we have a definition where the protocol is simply a communication rule set used for sending short text message in a mobile phone network. So the video explaining details how this architecture and how this is done through telephones, telephones, smartphones, or any type of mobile device. And this is done over the internet through a protocol, which could be a HTTP protocol, hypertext protocol, which allows us to connect securely to the internet and transfer data through this protocol. Now we come into our last part, where we're going to describe how wireless mobile communication technology are benefiting business. So we all know that Wi-Fi technology has now reached to a point where it's been introduced hotspot, which allows us to share our internet connectivity, our 3G and 4G connectivity, whatever we have, with the Wi-Fi technology, and allows us to share our data with other endpoint users who might require to connect with our device. Also, we have wireless network adapters. These are normally on the form of like a USB, and once you plug it to your PC or laptop, will now allow you to have a Wi-Fi type of Wi-Fi access, and people can now and your device can now access to any type of local Wi-Fi in your area, which is the LAN, local area network. Also, we need to be able to stay safe when connecting to this type of Wi-Fi or these type of networks. And there are various type of encryption methods which are used, such as WEP or WPA, which are the most famous one, where with the WEP, which stands for Wide Equivalent Privacy, and WPA, which is Wireless Protected Access. These two type of connectivity give us a type of encryption and allow us to allow our message to be once we send them over to be encrypted. This means the message will now be converted into strings of characters and numbers, and this cannot be hacked or encrypted from a hacker until the message will now be delivered. So the process of finding the information which is encrypted is called decryption, which is a really hard process. It's not easy for hackers to decrypt any type of message. Also, we have AES, which is Advanced Encryption Standard, and has pretty much the same concept, where we have the algorithm that will now create this code, and will now be, you now require a high level of knowledge in cybersecurity in order for you to decrypt the code. So this was everything for today's session. Is there any question?
No, but I'm going to send my first assignment, and please tell me that you receive it, okay? And not only that, if it's possible, can you give me a feedback as soon as possible? You know what you're supposed to, whatever you're supposed to do as soon as possible, okay? I'm sending it right now.